Hello everyone, this is Jalen Cook with Module 14 for School Law. The first thing that we need to know about this case is identifying the factors that we do know. So the problem identification would be that we know that this high school is in a very wealthy area. The principal has been there for quite some time, for 9 years, and he was principal of the year 2 years ago. He only hires highly qualified teachers. The science teacher that he hired 2 years ago runs a very rigorous and stressful classroom, and he has received several complaints from parents about this science teacher. This will be the first low grade for many students coming from Miss Tate's class. We know that Miss Tate is well educated, but she doesn't have a lot of classroom experience. The principal has met with her to discuss strategies to reduce stress on students, but those strategies have not been implemented into her classroom. At the end of the case, we understand that Miss Tate received a threatening email asking who wants Miss Tate to disappear. Suspected student will be questioned, and they believe that they know who it is, but again, they're about to investigate at the end of the case. What do I need to know? I need to know how rigorous is the other content in different classrooms. Is anybody else getting these complaints? Why are students feeling so overwhelmed in her classroom? What techniques were discussed when she met with the principal? Has Dr. Smith ever done a walkthrough or observation to actually see what's going on in her classroom? What kind of assignments are being given in the classroom? What is her grading policy? Is it just different from other teachers, or why are they struggling? Has she ever responded to the parent emails, or are they just going to Dr. Smith? Is there any way for students to leave feedback for Miss Tate? Could she do something like a plus delta chart to identify some concerns that the students have? Is there any way for them to leave those concerns? I also need to know, have these parents complained about other teachers? Is this a matter of entitlement? In a affluent area where there's a lot of money talking, are these kids just entitled, or are they really struggling? Has Miss Tate noticed any differences in student behavior as far as who made the threat? Is there a mentor program that Miss Tate could be enrolled in as a new teacher? Did Miss Tate ever student teach somewhere? What's her experience like? And is she actively involved in the community outside of the classroom? Because that's how she's going to form connections with the students. So part C of this category 1 would be identifying what is the actual problem. So the problem is that Miss Tate has failed to respond and adapt to suggestions made from the principal, and this is causing parents and students to be upset. The students are really struggling in her class, and there seems to be no openness from Miss Tate, no ability to adjust. She's reluctant to change, and a threat has now been made against Miss Tate. So starting with category 2, what is the plan of action? So the steps would be understand how Miss Tate runs her classroom as a leader. If I'm in Dr. Smith's shoes, that's what I need to know. I need to set a goal for improvement for her, and then since the threat was made, we need to address the threat and take action to prevent further threats. Strategies to implement the plan, I went step by step. So for step 1, remember our step 1 was to understand how Miss Tate runs her classroom. And the way that I would go about this is start a discussion with Miss Tate, asking questions and addressing concerns from parents, and get Miss Tate's side of the story. There's always 2 sides to the story. Step 2 to implement that plan would be have discussions with students. Why are they feeling this way? And then step 3 would be example 3 to address step 1 is to assess materials used in her class and take an in-depth look at the assignments. How is she grading? Is there a rubric to grade, or how are those students being assessed? And then again, step 2, if you think back, was set a goal for improvement. And the way that this could be done is discuss strategies to reduce stress with Miss Tate, set up a mentor program with a mentor teacher to discuss further strategies, and then also have Miss Tate go in and observe the mentor teacher. And if possible, or if needed, put her on a growth plan with detailed documentation and observations. And that might be the only way that she changes, is if she looks and reflects on her teaching. Step 3 was to address the threat and prevent further threats. And the way we would go about doing that to implement that plan would be use the district technologist to discover who sent the email. Will the student face charges? Now, this is going back to some of the things that we talked about in school law. Does this fall under malice or assault? And make sure that the student receives fair punishment so that further threats aren't made. And then establish a communication log to ensure open communication between the parents and the teacher. Category 3, resolve issues by promoting success and personal well-being of all students. What is best for all students? So ensure coursework is rigorous but realistic. We all know that students are really busy outside of school, so don't make it to where it just cannot be obtained. Make sure that the students are provided clear expectations. And the data that match that from the case, the rigor of the subjects she is assigned to teach, combined with her serious approach to instructional delivery, establishes a classroom in which students experience high levels of stress. So again, what is best for all students? 2 would be implement strategies and document the effectiveness of those strategies by requiring Ms. Tate to reflect. Again, that is what's best for all students, and the data from that would be Dr. Smith has discussed techniques Ms. Tate can use to reduce student stress and increase positive interactions with students, but she hasn't actually implemented those suggestions. And then the last part of this would be educate students on technology and the safe use of technology. That is really what's best for all students, is for them to understand how they could be, facing legal charges through this. So the data from that would be, he is so clever that I haven't been able to prove that he's the disruptive influence, but I'll just bet William developed that Facebook page. So reflecting, this was about what was I thinking by identifying the issues in this case. I was thinking about the following details. What kind of assignments are the students getting in her class? What kind of assignments do they get in other classes? And is there any communication coming from Ms. Tate to the administration, the students, or the parents? I was feeling the following emotions. I was feeling stress for the students, and in the end, I was feeling stress for Ms. Tate because she was in this situation. I was feeling curious for Dr. Smith in regards to why are there so many complaints coming in Ms. Tate's class, and what is it really like in Ms. Tate's classroom? And then at the end, I had a feeling of fear for Ms. Tate and her safety. What was I valuing by identifying the issues in this case? I was valuing the fact that she ran a rigorous classroom. That's extremely important, that it pushes students, but it could be more realistic. And again, that's why I would need to investigate it. I valued honesty from Dr. Smith as he communicated with the parents, and the night that Ms. Tate called him about the threat. Communication from Dr. Smith in discussing strategies first with Ms. Tate before further action was taken. He didn't badmouth her or anything like that to the parents. He got her side of it first and gave her an opportunity to adjust before any other action was taken. Category 5, how did we promote success of every student? Component 1 was in regards to integrity. The building leader promoted the success of every student by acting with integrity. In the 3 ways that he did this, Dr. Smith did not undermine Miss Tate to parents when they were upset. He did not badmouth her. As far as the case told, he listened to their complaints, but informed Miss Tate of it. Dr. Smith questioned and had open discussions with Miss Tate. And then Dr. Smith listened and responded to the concerns of parents. Component 2 of this was the building leader promoted the success of every student by acting with fairness. And Dr. Smith did this by, he did not give in to parents contacting him by just changing their grade. He was not easily influenced. He gave Miss Tate the opportunity to implement those strategies before he took further action against her. and then he did not ignore the threat once Miss Tate voiced her concern. And component 3, the last component of category 5, the building leader promoted the success of every student by acting in an ethical manner. Dr. Smith did not instantly blame William Hall without investigating. He didn't just, start telling everybody that it was William that did it. Dr. Smith hires highly qualified teachers, and Dr. Smith did not let the affluent nature of the community affect his decisions in regards to he didn't accept bribes, to help their kids. So that concludes our final slide. I went through this very quick because I was afraid that I was going to run out of 15 minutes. So I hope that I answered all of these questions and addressed any concerns and problems that were found in the case.